Still working to learn more about today's hazmat situation at Bellin Hospital in Green Bay.
The incident closing down southbound Webster Avenue near Mason Street for several hours today. Emily Byer joins us live from outside the Bellin Hospital with a further update. Emily.
Yeah, Jeff and Brittany, we're here on scene. We've been on scene for about 15 minutes. There was no one here at this point, but we just now saw a couple fire trucks just return on scene. It looks like they're just kind of wrapping up some last-minute clearing situations that they do with these hazmat situations. We still don't know exactly what that chemical was that these employees were exposed to, but what we do know is that thanks to several safety measures the hospital has in place, is the area was very quickly sealed off. Now, officials were called to Bellin Hospital here just after 10 o'clock this morning for some lab employees who were coughing and had irritated eyes. Fire crews confirming that it was from a leak or a spill in one of the labs in the basement. Within minutes, hazmat crews began working to clear the area. No other people were hurt. The employees experiencing those symptoms felt better after leaving the affected area. And safety features for the lab meant authorities did not have to evacuate the whole hospital.
Usually facilities that have chemicals on hand have a very well-listed draft of, like what they have in their building and how many people are in the building. So that's why places have these safety mechanisms in place, so that way to kind of prepare in case something did happen. And like today, Bellin's is theirs working appropriately.
And now, thanks to those safety mechanisms that they do have in place, hospital operations were able to operate as normal. Reporting live in Green Bay, Emily Byer, Action 2 News.